Hi everyone, welcome back to my lab and today's video, which is going to be the roundup of the 5 brands I wanted to try in 2018. If you haven't seen the original video, I will link that up in the card so that you can check it out and see my reasoning for trying out each specific brand. Now before I get into the video, I just want to wish you a very happy new year. I've been away from YouTube for just a little bit, or a lot of bit actually, but when I went on my winter break from teaching, I got very sick. And I was sick for a good 3 weeks. And then after that, there was just some sad stuff, and I'm not coming on YouTube to make anybody sad. I'm always here to entertain, and hopefully all that is behind me, and here I am. So let's go ahead and get into the video. The first brand I tried from my list was Linda Hallberg. I was really excited about trying Linda Hallberg. I love her Instagram. It's so inspiring to me. She can do such a variety of looks, from the very editorial to the very edgy to the very neutral to the almost no makeup look. And I'm always very inspired by her artistry. She does have a YouTube channel as well, which I watch whenever she uploads. The items that I tried from her line were some crayons, some eye crayons. I did try her 2 palettes, which were the smaller palettes, the Enchanted Secrets and it was Enchanted Secrets and Metallic Mysteries. So I tried those palettes as well as some of her brushes. Right off of the top of my head, I would have to say that my favorite products from her line were the Metallic Mysteries palettes as well as the Enchanted Secret palette, and I really love the brushes. If you've seen any of my videos, you'd probably seen one here or there. I have since purchased from the brand again, and I would definitely recommend purchasing from her brand. There is a cap to how much you spend in order to obtain free shipping to the United States, as her brand does ship from Sweden. I do have to say it is a pricey brand, but the makeup products that you receive are high quality. I have purchased from her again, and so I'll have a couple new items to share from her line in an upcoming haul, so stay tuned for that. I've had some experience with her customer service as well, and it was fantastic. Very easily reached through email. They were very responsive, and any issue that I had was absolutely resolved, so definitely a brand I can get behind. After trying her brand, the next brand that I tried was Glossier. I was so curious about it. There's a lot of people who do full face of Glossier makeup or one brand tutorial using Glossier, and Glossier is very much about enhancing natural beauty and no makeup kind of looks. And so I was very curious about that kind of makeup, as that's usually the kind of makeup that I wear to work. I purchased a few items from the line. I picked up the skin tint, some of the eye tints. I think that's what they were called. They're liquid shadows. I purchased the powder as well as a brush, and I did try the perfume. From all the products that I tried, I have to say that my absolute favorite product from the line was the powder. That still remains a favorite powder for me. I am dry skin, and that powder works really well for me. I enjoy it underneath my eyes, setting makeup all over my face, and also to set eyeshadow base because it has a little bit of coverage and it cancels out any veining or discoloration that I may have on my eyelids prior to eyeshadow. I have since purchased from Glossier again, but this time it wasn't something that I ordered online. Towards the end of last year, they had a pop-up shop in Chicago, which I shared on my Instagram stories, and I picked up a couple more items then. I picked up, oh, let me not tell. I want to share that in a future haul, so definitely stay tuned for that. But I picked up a couple more items, and I've been very happy with what I obtained from the brand. But again, the one product I would recommend at this point is the powder. Just a tip for purchasing from Glossier: find a Glossier rep somewhere. I use Michelle Wang's link in order to place my first order because you can save some money that way. The next brand that I tried was Smith Cosmetics. I've heard so much about Smith Cosmetics brushes. It's basically an indie brand of makeup brushes. I have since learned that they do use natural hair and they do not cut the hair. However, if you go back and watch that video where I shared my experiences with Smith brushes, you'll find that for some brushes I was happy, and others I was a little bit surprised to find how scratchy the brushes are. And I did share my honest opinion. If you're interested in seeing the brushes that I do enjoy and would not so much recommend from the Smith Cosmetics line. In terms of customer service, I purchased mine from Beautylish, and Beautylish always has excellent customer service, so I definitely recommend purchasing from them so that you don't have to meet any purchase minimums in order to obtain free shipping. I will leave Beautylish linked in my description box down below so that you can check them out. I do recommend them for their customer service and also the different products that they carry, Smith Cosmetics brushes being one of them. Again, that was one where it was surprising. If you haven't seen that video, I worked really hard on it. I definitely recommend you check it out. so it will be linked above for you. The fourth brand that I wanted to try, I actually didn't get to. This was Lunatic Cosmetics Lab, and this, I think it's Lunatic Cosmetics Labs, and this comes from the times I would watch Kimberly Clark. She made a lot of videos in which she was doing get ready with me's and everything like that, and she would use their contour palettes. They also have eyeshadows, and I just thought they looked really nice. They're huge contour books, and they have really cool tone powders. They have two different books, but they're very, very expensive books, and although they have had sales, somehow I have always missed them. But I've seen sales in which the books have sold for around $50 a piece, and that is a big savings off of the original price. It's a brand that I'd still like to try, but I'm not as inclined anymore. I don't feel as curious about them. If you have tried it out, let me know. I think part of the reason why I left them for the end is because a lot of you commented on that video that the products were a little bit more on the dry side, and you didn't recommend it as much as the hype would imply, at least on YouTube. The last brand that I wanted to try last year was Elsie Cosmetics, and so I'm going to share my experience trying out the brand with you today. I did order from them towards the end of last year, but being so sick, I really wasn't much in the mood to be wearing a lot of makeup at that point in time, and so I'm just recently trying it out now. At the time when I ordered, they didn't have as many products as they do now, and so the two products that I tried out were the Minimalist eyeshadow palette as well as the Micro Silk foundation, and I'm wearing both of these products on my face today. In terms of shipping, I didn't experience any delays or anything like that. However, I did find that they could have done a little bit better in the packaging department, especially considering that this feels like a glass bottle. It's a very heavy bottle, so I don't think this is likely to have broken, especially since it came in a box. But an eyeshadow palette is a little bit of a delicate thing to ship just in a bubble mailer, so I think I would have felt better to receive my items in a box, but there was nothing wrong with it, so I don't really have anything to complain about, just something I thought I'd share in case you're interested in trying out the brand. They may have changed things. As I said, I ordered towards the end of last year, and I think they've grown quite a bit since then. Here's what the box looks like of the eyeshadow palette. It's just a small box. On the back side, you do have some ingredient information as well as the shade names. Inside the packaging, you get a little how-to guide, and inside you have instructions for creating 3 very simple looks. I say simple because once you look at this palette, here's what it looks like. It's a very simple eyeshadow palette with very basic neutral shades. So this would be a really great palette for traveling or to use on the go, since it's a tiny compact palette and you have your basic essential neutral shades. So if I was traveling, I would pack this particular palette and maybe some topper eyeshadows so that I can add a little shimmer to my look if I was so inclined. But I was curious in trying out this palette because I saw Kathleen Lights put it in her favorites videos quite a few times, and I did see her use it on her channel more than once as well, and so I was very curious to try out the brand myself. I started out my look today by using Blank Start to set my eyeshadow base and all over the lid as well, and then I created just a very basic smoky eye. I applied the shade Tone Up into my crease, and I followed those shades in increasing depth of the color. So after the shade Tone Up, I did use the shade Warmth. I used the shade Warmth a little bit lower underneath the crease, and then I used the shade In Depth to darken the outer V of my eye look. The black shade, which is called Smoke Out, I used as eyeliner to line the upper lash line. Now the eyeshadows themselves didn't give me any trouble at all upon application. When swatching them, they do feel soft and creamy to the touch, but not as creamy as, say, an Anastasia Beverly Hills shadow. I would say it's somewhere in the middle between an Anastasia shadow and an eyeshadow from The Balm, if you're familiar with that formula. The Balm is a very dry formula. Anastasia is a very creamy formula. So somewhere in the middle is where you will find Elsie Cosmetics, in my opinion. Now today's my first day wearing the eyeshadow palette, and I created the look easily enough, though I have to say that though the formula is nice and the eyeshadows are quite pigmented, I don't necessarily think that this eyeshadow palette is a must-have, as these shades are easily found in other palettes. And you probably have all of them in your collection. They have since created another eyeshadow palette which is a little bit more mauve-y and cool tone. It looks super, super pretty, and I wanted to try that, but I don't want to place an order just for that. I also wanted to try the Micro Silk foundation. This is a foundation that was a favorite of Ishani from Total Makeup Junkie 101. She raved about this foundation. This bottle is so beautiful. I would have to say that this is probably the most beautiful bottle of a foundation that I own. It's frosted glass. It does have a pump for you. Yes, it does have a pump, and it comes in a nice variety of shades as well. According to the box, the foundation is lightweight, anti-aging, blendable, mild, transfer resistant, paraben-free, vegan, gluten-free, cruelty-free, and has HD coverage. On the front, it also says it has green tea extract, white tea extract, and vitamin E. Now, I think from the description of the foundation and those I saw use it on YouTube, I was expecting this to be more of a luminous foundation, but I have to say that compared to foundations that I've tried, this would have to be most similar to Fenty Beauty. It does go on really well, but it starts to dry fairly quickly, so I would suggest working in one area and then finishing off throughout your face. So definitely blend out as you go. Don't wait until the last minute because it does dry rather quickly. The coverage is very similar to the coverage I experienced with Fenty Beauty. I would say this is probably the highest level of coverage that I personally would like. I prefer light to medium coverage, luminous foundations, and so this one is both a little bit more matte and a little bit more coverage than I personally prefer. The Fenty Beauty foundation is pretty much the upper limit for my personal taste. So even though I think the foundation looks really nice and I definitely will finish it, I don't think that it's necessarily a foundation that I will go back to again and again. Now, as I mentioned, aside from the note on shipping, I had no trouble obtaining my order, and I have become more curious about some of the other products that LC Cosmetics has added to their line. The first being the concealer. I definitely want to try the concealer as well as the powder highlight. That one is a result of Samantha Ravindal's videos. She used that highlighter in a video and she typically prefers cream highlights, but she really liked that one, so I'm curious to try that highlighter for myself. And so I would definitely purchase from LC Cosmetics again. I'm happy with the two items that I have, though I don't think that they will become absolute favorites or necessities in my collection. I do think that if you have combination or normal skin and you prefer medium coverage, that you probably will like this foundation quite a bit. It seems a very beautiful product. It's only my first time wearing it today, so I really can't say much about the wear time, just the initial application, and I've been wearing it for a few hours today at this point. It does seem to be one of those foundations that sort of melts into your skin as you wear it longer throughout the day, and that's pretty much all the information I can give for now, but I will definitely feature this one in a follow-up haul video or something of that sort. That's everything for the 5 brands that I wanted to try last year. I have a list for this year, which I'm very excited to share with you in a future video, so definitely stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. It feels really good to be back. I hope you had a lovely holiday and that this year treats you really well. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, especially if you enjoyed this video and you would like to be notified of my future posts. Thank you again for your time. Hope you're having a lovely one, and I will see you again very soon on my next one. Bye-bye.